In this video, I would like to speak about my own art journey because I believe it could be useful for someone who is just starting or for someone who is wondering if they should pursue a career in this field. I believe it could be useful to hear other people's stories about how they started and what obstacles they had to face before they started to see any results. I hope this video will help you realize that to become an artist isn't an overnight success. There is a lot to learn, and I don't mean only the artistic part, so let's dive in. As many artists say, there has always been a creative part of me that liked to draw. As a kid, I would draw Disney characters, mainly princesses and cute animals. I would simply copy the original picture. I started to take drawing courses when I was at primary school, but soon I would give up because I didn't like the fact that the teacher always told us what to do. Let's say I always liked creative freedom. I even won a few drawing contests as a kid, but once I got my first summer job that later turned into a weekend job throughout the year, I stopped drawing. I guess I got into the mindset that as it was only a hobby that wasn't giving me money, it wasn't worth doing it. So let me give you a little piece of advice. If you like it, carry on doing it. It doesn't matter what hobby it is because doing things just for fun is as important as doing things for money. Plus, you never know what this hobby of yours can turn into later in your life. Now, back to my story. In the next approximately 10 years, I didn't draw anything at all. I was always busy at my day job, and unfortunately it didn't even come to my mind that I could get money doing art until like 2.5 years ago. I guess I always thought that for becoming a full-time artist, I would need to have studies, and little part of me probably also thought that artists don't get enough money to live. There weren't as many sources of free information and courses as there are now, and I also lived in an environment that dictated that you need to get a normal job and work for somebody else, and the harder the job, the more value you have. But I always felt the need to do something different. I just didn't know what it should be. In November 2019, I was lucky enough to get the chance to move to Spain with my boyfriend and live off my savings from England where I had worked. This gave me a chance to figure out what career change I would like to pursue. First year and a half, I was trying to write regular blog posts for my website where I wrote about skincare. But in the end, I realized it wasn't something I would like to do long term. This meant I had to come back to the beginning. In June 2021, I came across a YouTube video speaking about graphic design and I got interested in it. I spent maybe 2 to 3 months learning. On YouTube, there would be videos constantly popping up teaching about creating illustrations. I remember at the time I was like, illustration is the last thing I would like to do. I think it was mainly because I couldn't imagine drawing all those lines with a mouse, so I felt a little bit discouraged. But after those 2 to 3 months, I came across a video speaking about surface pattern design, and that was what really caught my attention. I watched some YouTube videos on this topic for a few days to know what I was getting myself into, and then I decided to try it out. And I really liked it. Graphic design felt a little bit better than writing a blog about skincare, but it still wasn't the thing. So I continued learning more about surface pattern design by watching YouTube. I got a free monthly subscription on Skillshare just to try it out. I studied patterns of other, more experienced designers to see what makes their patterns so interesting, and I was trying to create my own patterns which weren't exactly great, but everyone starts somewhere. Once I was able to put a pattern together, I tried to upload them to print-on-demand sites like Society6, but I had no success for several reasons. Partially because I didn't do any marketing for my products at all, and I was relying only on the search bar of this print-on-demand site. Partially because, in my opinion, it might be quite difficult for new artists to succeed on this particular site if you don't have any existing audience at all, which I didn't, and partially because my designs weren't special in any way. I also tried my luck on the Zazzle website, but with the same results, and honestly with the same approach, which means no marketing at all. I think part of my problem back then was that I thought these sites could be a quick solution to get money, as I was still living off my savings. Then in September 2022, my father got sick, and he was the one who was taking care of my mom at the time, which he couldn't do when he got sick himself. So I spent almost 6 months back in Czechia, where I'm originally from, taking care of both of them. At this time, I didn't have much time for myself. That means that I didn't sketch new patterns and I didn't watch YouTube videos to gain more knowledge. My only connection with art was through a few newsletters of other artists that I was subscribed to and able to read from time to time. So in April 2023, I got back to Spain and started to focus on my art journey again. This time I already knew that creating a business takes much more time than I initially thought it would, and I set my mind for that. I paid for a yearly Skillshare subscription and watched videos every morning for half an hour with my coffee. By the way, other than Skillshare, I haven't paid for any courses. In the near future though, I would like to pay for a business coach or mentor who could answer all of the questions related to my situation to speed things up a little bit. I put together my first surface pattern design mini collections and opened a Behance account to be able to show my work to art agents. When I had like 5 mini collections, I gathered contacts of around 25 art agents and sent them my small portfolio. A handful of them replied they weren't looking for a new artist to work with. One of them seemed to be interested at first, but after my third email, they answered they got a lot of portfolios from other artists that week, so unfortunately they chose someone else. One of them would be also interested, but didn't like the fact I didn't have a portfolio big enough, but most of them didn't reply. So I decided to work on my portfolio a little bit more and create more designs. And once I have a solid number of collections, I'm going to create a website where I upload them and try my luck again. Besides art licensing, my goal is to create sort of a personal brand and sell my products with my own designs outside of print-on-demand sites. But more on that in the future when I see that I'm getting closer to achieving my goal. Thanks to Skillshare courses, as I began to feel more confident creating patterns, I also started to enjoy creating illustrations during the summer of 2023, illustrations that I refused to do almost 3 years ago. So another lesson I have learned on my art journey is that you should try as many things as possible at the beginning because you never know what you enjoy doing until you try it. I tried some full-page illustrations with female characters, but soon I realized that I don't have so much patience for drawing a full-page design full of details, and that I enjoy creating spot illustrations much more. In the future, I would be happy to work on a project for a magazine, for example. Recently, I have also designed some lettering designs, and I found I like it. Even though you could think I'm too distracted, doing too many things, I believe it's a good thing. Firstly, I guess I'm still in the exploring stage, and secondly, having more types of designs could help me find an art agent to work with. Somewhere along the way, I tried to post my art to Instagram, and I really enjoyed participating in art challenges. The only thing was that I had a really low reach on any post that wasn't a part of any art challenge, so it felt like posting for ghosts and waste of time. So now I use Instagram mostly just to see what others are up to. In the end, I decided to focus more on this YouTube channel. It had been on my mind for some time, but I never felt like I had what to share. Back then, it was probably the part of me that knows I haven't achieved much in terms of the financial part of my art yet. So far, I have created a few designs for clothes for my nephew and niece, and a few of my sister's work colleagues had me design an illustration for them too. But now I realize that I have learned other things in the last 2.5 years that could help someone just starting their art journey. And because I'm also still at the beginning, I still remember what used to be the biggest obstacles I had to overcome and how much I have had to work on my mindset. Each of us has a different art journey, and I am happy I could share mine with you today. I don't have any studies related to art. Everything I have learned so far, I learned myself. Every single information I have, I found myself. Luckily, there is plenty of free information on the internet today, which makes life much easier. Two of the most important things you'll need is to be patient with your journey and willingness to learn and overcome the many obstacles you will most likely come across. Don't expect to build an art business in a week. So guys, this was my creative journey so far, and I hope you really enjoyed this little story of mine. I created a video where I speak about my 5 favorite Affinity Designer features that help me create my surface pattern designs and illustrations faster. I'll put a link somewhere around the screen. Let me know in the comments how far you are in your creative journey and what income streams you are aiming for. Thank you for staying till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!